You are not stuck because of what happened to you before. You are only stuck by the way you keep remembering those things in your mind. Change the story inside your imagination. Then the future will start to match your new way of thinking without any effort. Pay close attention to this idea because once you learn how to rewrite what you remember from the past, you will discover the real power that has been forming your life the whole time. Everything you think of as your past is not completely true in the way you believe. It is not true, not because someone tricked you, but because what you call the past does not really exist anymore in any fixed form. Right at this moment, you are holding on to memories of things you believe took place, events that formed you, times that decided who you are, and experiences that made you the person you are today. But there is something important you may not see yet about all of this. Those events only live inside your thoughts right now, in this present time, and nowhere else at all. The past is not sitting somewhere behind you like a fixed record that cannot be touched or changed ever again. The past lives only in your head, only in your memory, and only in the picture you create of it at this very moment every single day. And since it only lives in your imagination, if it is real only because you are thinking about it now, then you can think about it in a new way, change it, rewrite it, and make it completely different without any limits. Tonight I'm going to break apart everything you thought you understood about memory and time and the idea that things cannot be changed in any way. The past is not fixed at all in reality. Your memory is not always correct in the way it feels so solid. And you have the ability right now in this moment to change what you believe happened, not just in words or ideas, but in a real and powerful way that affects everything. If you want the full truth about how to rewrite your past and change your future, hit like so more people can see this. This is called revision, and it is the most powerful method I have ever shared with anyone who wanted to improve their life. Let me begin by breaking down a belief you have held since you were young and never questioned before. You think the past is solid and real, and that it cannot be changed no matter what you do. You believe that what took place actually took place and that those events are written in stone forever without any chance to shift them. But this belief that the past is unchanging is shaping your life today in ways you may not notice at all right now. Because the real truth is that the past does not exist anywhere except inside your thoughts at this exact time and in no other place. Think about this carefully and let it sink in deeply. Where is yesterday now that it has passed away completely? Where is last week and where is 10 years ago when you look for them today? It is not physically behind you in any real sense that you can touch or see. It is not kept in some other place where old events keep going on forever without end. The past is only memory, only a thought, and only an image you hold in the present moment every time you recall it. Every single time you remember something that happened, you are not looking at a fixed video of life playing again. You are creating that picture in your mind right now without even realizing it most of the time. You are building the event again inside your thoughts with every recall, and this is what makes everything possible to change if you choose. If you are creating the past in your mind at this moment, then you can create it in a different way that serves you better. Let me help you see why this is true with a simple example you can try right away. Pick any event from earlier in your life and make it something clear and specific that you remember well. Now, as you think about it, where is that event really happening inside your mind at this present time without traveling anywhere? You are not going back through time to visit the past again. You are not opening some outside record of life that stays the same forever. You are simply imagining right now what you think took place and nothing more than that. The event itself has ended long ago and it is not happening anywhere else in the world. All that remains is your current picture of it living only in your thoughts. And because it only remains as your present imagination, it is just as easy to change as any other thought you create in your daily life. You can imagine yourself having plenty of money flowing to you easily. You can imagine yourself being loved deeply by the people around you. You can imagine yourself reaching great success in everything you try. And you can imagine with the same strength that the past went differently than you usually remember it happening before. Because remembering is really imagining, and imagining builds your reality every single day without fail. Now, here is why this idea is more important than you may think at first when you hear it. You are not only holding memories from before in your mind, you are holding the feelings and the way of thinking that those memories create inside you all the time. Every memory you keep and every event you think about is actively forming your current thoughts, your current sense of who you are, and your current way of being in the world. If you remember being turned away, you carry the feeling of someone who was turned away many times. and that feeling creates more times of being turned away in your life now and in the days ahead. If you remember being embarrassed, you carry the feeling of someone who was embarrassed deeply before. And that feeling brings more embarrassment into your experiences without you noticing it at first. If you remember falling short or not having enough or losing something important, you carry those feelings inside you strongly. And those feelings bring more falling short, more lack, and more loss into your daily life over time. Your way of remembering the past is shaping how you experience life right now in every moment. Not because the past is reaching out to touch you from far away, but because you are imagining the past at this moment with full power. And that act of imagining is forming the way you feel inside your heart and mind. And the way you feel inside is what brings things into your life without any doubt. Comment rewrite if you've ever felt trapped by painful memories from your past. So, if your memory of the past is making you feel unworthy or limited or empty inside, you need to change that memory right away. Not to pretend it never happened at all, but to understand that the past only lives as your imagination right now in this present time. And you have the power to imagine it in a new way that lifts you up instead. This is what revision really means when you practice it daily. Instead of only imagining what you want to see happen later in the future, you imagine going back into the past with purpose. You take an event that already took place, an event you keep remembering, and an event that is making you feel bad inside, and you imagine it happening in a better way that feels good to you now. Not as a made up dream or wishful thinking, but as a clear rebuilding of the memory that changes how you feel today in a real way. Let me share a clear example so you can understand how this works in everyday life. A man once came to me feeling deep shame from a business that did not work out several years earlier in his journey. He had started a company with great hopes at the beginning. It fell apart after some time and he lost a lot in the process. He was publicly embarrassed and many people saw his failure clearly. Every time he thought about trying a new business, he felt that same shame, that same sense of falling short, and that same embarrassment all over again. Not because the event was still taking place in the present, but because he was still imagining it right now, and that created the feeling of failure inside him today. I told him you need to change that memory with full intention and focus. But it really happened, he replied with doubt in his voice at first. I cannot change what took place no matter how hard I try. I asked him, where does that event exist now in any real form? Show me the place where it is still happening today without your thoughts. He could not point to any place because it does not exist anywhere except in his own imagination of it right now. So he began to change it night after night with steady practice. Every night he returned to that moment in his mind with calm focus. But instead of seeing the failure again, he imagined the company doing very well from the start. He saw himself in that same situation but with a positive outcome this time. But this time the company grew strong and successful without any trouble. This time the start went smoothly and everything fell into place naturally. This time people praised him instead of looking down on him with disappointment. Not as a daydream, but as a real memory, as if this is what actually happened in his life. He did this again and again, night after night, changing the picture of the past with determination. And something wonderful took place inside him over the following weeks and months. The shame started to fade away completely from his heart. The fear started to fade away and lose its hold on him. And the feeling of failure started to fade away, leaving him lighter and freer. Not because the real events from before changed in any physical way, but because his current imagination of those events changed completely. And since the past only lives as current imagination, changing his imagination changed his past in his own experience. He was no longer carrying the feeling of someone who failed badly before. He was carrying the feeling of someone who succeeded with confidence and ease. And from that new feeling and that new way of thinking, he went on to build a strong, successful business that thrived. Because he was no longer imagining from a place of failure and doubt. He was imagining from a place of success and strength every single day. Here is something most people do not fully understand about this method when they first hear about it. They believe they are changing actual history or rewriting some big record in the universe, or they think they are changing a fixed line of time that cannot be touched. But that is not what is really happening when you practice revision with an open mind. You are not changing what took place back then in the distant past. because back then no longer exists in any real and fixed form anymore. You are changing what you are imagining at this very moment with full awareness, and what you are imagining at this very moment is forming how you feel inside right now without fail, and how you feel inside right now is forming your life in every area. So when you change a memory of falling short into a memory of doing well with clear intention, you are not changing the past in some magical way that rewrites time. You are changing the way you feel right now by changing what you are imagining about the past with purpose. And that shift in how you feel changes everything around you in surprising ways, because you do not bring things into your life from the past at all. You bring things into your life from how you feel in the present moment every day. And how you feel in the present comes from what you are imagining, whether forward or backward in time. Most people only think about imagining ahead into the future with their thoughts. They focus on picturing what they want to see later in their lives with hope. And this can work well when done the right way with feeling and belief. It changes how you feel inside and it brings new things into your experience. But they forget about imagining backward into the past with the same power. They forget about revision and its deep effect on daily life. And this is a big mistake that holds many people back without them knowing, because your memories from before are shaping how you feel right now in every single moment of the day. You may picture having wealth later on with great detail and emotion. But if you keep remembering times of not having enough from before in your mind, you are holding two different feelings at the same time inside you, and the feeling of not having enough, because it is tied to strong emotions and to who you think you are, often feels stronger than the new picture of wealth that you try to create. You may picture success later on with excitement and clear vision in your thoughts, but if you keep remembering falling short from before with repeated attention, that memory is creating the feeling of falling short right now in your present state. You cannot fully live in a new way of being while you are still imagining the old way through your memories every day. This is exactly why revision is so strong and effective when you use it regularly. It clears away the old feelings that no longer serve you well. It takes away the old way of being that limits your growth. It changes what you are imagining so that all of your thoughts, your feelings from before, your feelings now, and your feelings later all line up together in harmony. You become whole and complete inside yourself without any inner conflict. You are no longer pulled between who you used to be and who you want to become with effort. You simply are who you are now in this present time, with a past that helps your new way of being instead of working against it at every step. Type yes if you want me to reveal the exact technique to rewrite your past tonight. Let me explain the exact steps so you can start using this tonight before you sleep. First, find a memory that is creating a feeling you do not want to carry anymore. It could be a time of being turned away, a time of falling short, a time of embarrassment, a time of losing something, or a time of someone letting you down badly. Anything that when you think about it brings a bad feeling into your thoughts right now without warning. Second, remember that this memory only lives in your imagination at this moment and nowhere else. The event is over and finished completely in the outer world. It is not taking place anymore in any real sense at all. It is not kept in some hidden place outside your mind. It only lives because you are thinking about it right now with your attention. Third, change the picture in your mind with full focus and calm. Close your eyes and return to that moment in your imagination without fear. But this time, imagine it going the way you would have liked it to go from the beginning. Not as a made up story and not as just wishing for something better, but as a real memory, as if this is what truly took place in your life before. If you were turned away, imagine being welcomed warmly by everyone involved. If you fell short, imagine doing well and succeeding beyond your hopes. If you were embarrassed, imagine being respected and honored instead with kindness. If you lost, imagine coming out on top with joy and satisfaction. Make the new picture clear and strong in every detail you can feel. Make it feel true and natural as you hold it in your mind. Make it feel like something that really happened and shaped you positively. Fourth, keep doing this every night until the new version feels more real and natural than the old one you used to carry. The old memory has been thought about many, many times over the years, so it feels solid because of how often you return to it without choice. You need to return to the new version just as often until it feels just as solid, just as real, and just as normal to remember every time. Fifth, watch how your feelings right now start to change as the new memory becomes the main way you think about that event with ease. You will start to feel lighter and more open inside yourself. You will feel more free from old burdens that weighed you down. And you will feel more sure of yourself because you are no longer carrying the old feeling that the first memory created so strongly. You are now carrying a fresh feeling created by a fresh memory, and that will bring a fresh life full of new possibilities. Do you understand what this really means for your daily experience and growth? You are not made by your past because your past only lives as your imagination right now in every moment. You are not held back by what took place because what took place only lives in how you are remembering it at this moment with power. You are not decided by your earlier days because your earlier days can be changed and shaped again in this present time whenever you choose. You can change what formed you into who you are because what formed you only lives inside your thoughts right now without any fixed form. This is real freedom that goes beyond what most people ever realize in their lives. It is complete freedom from old chains that you once accepted without question. You are not stuck by what happened yesterday or the day before that. You are not tied down by what happened last year or even many years ago in your journey. You are not locked inside many years of hard times because all of those hard times only live as your imagination at this moment and can be shifted. And your imagination at this moment can be changed whenever you choose with simple practice and belief. There is something even deeper I want you to see clearly and hold on to firmly. It is not only that you can change how you remember the past with intention, your feelings right now are already changing how you remember the past all the time without you noticing the shifts. You have seen this happen before in your own life without realizing the pattern. You remember an event one way when you feel down and heavy inside. Then later, when your mood is better and lighter, you remember the same event in a completely different light full of new meaning. You remember your younger years one way when you feel upset and frustrated with life. Then years later, when you have healed and grown, you remember those years with kindness and understanding that was missing before. Your present feelings are already shaping and changing your past all the time without any effort on your part at first. So the real question is not whether you can change your memory of the past at all. You are already doing that every single day in small and big ways. The real question is whether you will do it on purpose with awareness or without thinking about it much. Will you allow your current difficult feelings to keep building difficult pictures of the past over and over? Or will you choose to change your past on purpose so it supports the way of being you want to live in every day? Once you really understand this truth, once you see that the past only lives as your imagination right now, everything starts to feel open and possible again. That time you were turned away, you can change it into a time of being welcomed with open arms. That time you fell short, you can change it into a time of doing well and feeling proud. That hard experience that has shaped how you see yourself, you can change it into a time of growing strong and wise beyond measure. Not by saying it never happened and not by pretending it was all good from the start. If this shocked you, comment alert below. But by knowing that it only lives now, inside your imagination and can be guided in a new direction with ease. You are not changing some outside record that stays fixed forever. You are changing the way you feel right now in your present moment. By changing what you are imagining about what took place before with clear purpose. And as your feelings change, your life changes too in wonderful and unexpected ways. Because your thoughts are the only true reality that shapes everything around you, and the past only lives inside your thoughts and nowhere else at all. Share this video so others can finally break free from their old painful past. I want you to make this revision part of your daily life without missing a single day if possible. Not only for the big events that hurt you deeply, but for all the small ones too that pass by quickly. At the end of every day before you go to sleep, look back over your day with calm eyes, and for any moment that left you feeling bad or heavy inside your heart, any talk that did not go well or left you uneasy, any meeting that made you feel smaller than you truly are, any event that brought unhappy feelings into your experience that day, change it in your mind with gentle but firm intention. Go over it again in your imagination the way you wish it had gone from the beginning, not to pretend it was different in the outer world, but to change the feeling it left inside you completely. Because what took place during the day only lives now as memory and as imagination in your mind, and you can imagine it in a better way that supports your growth and peace. Do this every single night without fail if you can. Change the day in your mind before sleep comes. Clear away the feelings you do not want to carry anymore into tomorrow. Build memories that help the person you want to become with each new day. And after some time, you will see something amazing happen in your daily experience. Your life right now will start to change in positive directions you may not expect at first. Not because the past itself changed in any physical sense, but because you stopped bringing old heavy feelings into today by thinking about unwanted events over and over again. You become free from yesterday and all its weight. You become free from last week and the burdens it carried before. You become free from last year and the patterns that repeated too long. And you become free to be exactly who you choose to be without old limits holding you back. Now, without the heavy load of an imagined past that was never fixed in the way you once thought it was. The past never happened in the way you usually believe it did with such certainty. What took place only lives as your present imagination of it, as memory, as thoughts happening right now in your awareness. And because it only lives in imagination, it can be imagined again with new eyes and new feelings. Not to run away from life or deny what occurred, but to understand that your memory of life is shaping how you feel today in every moment. And how you feel today is shaping the life you are living right now with full power. So change the memory with courage and clarity. Rewrite the past in your mind until it feels natural and supportive. Build a fresh picture of what was that lifts you higher. Not because you are hiding in dreams that are not real, but because you are finally taking charge of the only place the past truly lives, which is inside your thoughts right now in this present moment without any doubt. Your memory is not always right in the way it controls your feelings, not because you got the facts wrong, but because the feeling your memory creates is holding you back from your true potential. And you have the power to remember in a new way that sets you free. Remember doing well instead of falling short every time you recall it. Remember being welcomed instead of being turned away in those old moments. Remember growing strong instead of carrying pain from the past. And watch how your life right now begins to change in beautiful ways you will notice quickly. Not because the past itself changed, but because the way you feel created by your present imagination of the past has shifted completely and powerfully. The past can be shaped again with your focused thoughts. Memory is imagination, and imagination builds reality every single day. Change it with courage and without holding back at all. Change it fully until it feels true and natural inside you. Change it until the past you remember supports the way of being you want to live in with joy and confidence every day. Like, comment which part hit you hardest, and subscribe to learn how to rewrite your past and create the future you truly want. Thank you and good evening as always, my friends. Thank you for being here with me on this journey into the heart of our thoughts and feelings together. Remember, you are not here without reason or purpose in this moment. You are here because your deeper self is ready for this understanding and ready to grow. Take these ideas and let them change not only the way you think, but your whole life around you in positive ways. Until we come together again in thought and awareness, keep believing in your own greatness with full heart. And keep living as if your wishes have already come true in every area of your experience.